understand all this anyway, mate.
Yeah, no, I'd like to go over and see it anyway, mate. So it's
So
all good.
this orange structure I've got marked here, um, I'll show you the higher time frame as well. So obviously from the red structure, we're like obviously this is the current high and live high and low. Obviously we pulled back deep into this
Yep.
bottom quarter. Let's say it's probably around even deeper than that to be fair. And we've probably about started to feel like the last of the imbalances that actually mean anything. Now these purple lines are when I was just testing something. I don't know if it'll reach them or not. But what there was a trade. I think I covered it on last week's live or the week before. There's a so obviously prices hit something in this zone to the left at the bottom of that red zone, the high time frame structure. We've then had a change to the upside. Obviously, price has gone away and done its thing, and it's sort of come back deep into this. I think this area here is the first major buy that presented itself. So on last week or the week before's live. So if this is the 15-minute structure, so we've got two possible bearish swings here, as you see from
Yep.
high, low, lower high, lower low. That now obviously I say on a regular that the 1 minute makes up the 15 minute. So if we actually draw down the structure from obviously this high, I always generally do the last swing, so we get a. I'll change it color first as well. All right, so we get a low here because obviously there's a high pullback gets taken there. So and then that puts in the current 15-minute high, and we know that that's the 15-minute high because it took this end up taking this low.
Yep.
So until that one's taken, obviously we pull back. So we've put a bearish low in, a lower high. This doesn't take anything, so this doesn't count. So then that effectively takes us to something like either that as a pullback there. That's the previous fifth. That's what makes up the 1 minute structure, meaning that this high here that I've got marked with a blue mark is a significant high. It's at least what I would class as a 1 minute as at least. But that's I mean we're on the 4 hour here, and that's names are in the way. Actually, I can't actually see what how far that is, but mid-May. No, sorry. Towards the end of May, so a good month or so,
Yep.
month and a half, I think that is, of from there to that low. As I mean, if you're classing that as just a 1 minute, it's probably actually 15 or medium time frame at least. But it's the point being, it's a significant high. So obviously, what I generally say after a structure high has been taken, it generally causes a pullback, which is just getting more in. So once this high was taken, and I'd seen obviously that we started to pull back. So I was expecting a pullback. We kind of get. I'm just going to drop down the time frames. I don't want to confuse the newest lads that are possibly on. See a name called Harvey. No idea who that is. Um, so what I'd seen is I was anticipating price was coming a little bit lower, but it's not guaranteed to. It might not need to come down to here. Because that's where the first trade that I mentioned a minute ago happened from there. I was hoping it would come down real deep. But what I had seen is we've got uh, a trend line build up here. I've since been pulled up because that's a spread hour wick, so that technically don't count, but it kind of weights in my favor anyway. But what you can see on the way down here is we get obviously this is all bearish price action, whatever. We pull back to about there on the very last swing, and we get a change of character there. Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, I was just anticipating that we would, come. Obviously, I took another loss on this, by the way. So I think I had another entry that was, I think it was off this little wick low there, something like that. I'll show you the first one that I had put on. Um, so yeah, obviously took that one out the night before somewhere. Might have been a touch higher. Um, So yeah, I'd been taken out on one of the trades the night before anyway, and then I obviously woke up the morning after, and then nothing happened for a good few hours, and eventually taps. It actually just takes out my zone, but luckily, like I had a, I mean, it's only a 2 pip stop loss, so it only just takes my zone that I had marked, but I generally try not to go lower than two anyway, and GU is very, very tight with spreads anyway, so there was a like 8 pipettes of room, you know. So yeah. So yeah, basically it's just like I say, there's a build up a trend line, liquidity, sweep, lower time frame change to the upside to try and maybe signal that the new swing was going to be obviously from down here, up here, low, and then obviously the tip me TB kind of should have been up here to take this high out in reality. Um, but I mean, saying that though is the um I'm still unsure if it's going higher or lower overall from here. Now, obviously, we are still 15-minute bearish because I've got in all this, so there's all this in here as well. We've got possible lower time frame swings in here, so this might be the 15, and it might still go lower still. So I think that's why I was a bit on the cautious side. Plus, when I'd set the trade, I'd kind of lost focus on all of the previous. I was just kind of focused in on this area here. So set my TP at there was a couple of imbalances in and around there. I thought if it's going to turn around, it's going to be because this is trending downwards here. I thought if it's going to turn around, it's going to do it from up here, and it just didn't. So I took a 38. Currently reached 107, I believe it is, to the dot. So yeah, it's a bit of a short one. I'm kind of messed up a little bit, I guess, on overall TP, but like 48, 38's note to be like sniffed at, do you know?
No, definitely not, mate. Do you do what George does? No, do you know on your point of entry, like the
Yeah,
to find basically to find your point of entry
yeah.
after all this has happened, and then you're on the 1 minute effectively or whatever. Do you do what George does in terms of looking for that liquidity to confirm your point of entry?
No, but I
Because
understand.
I
Yeah,
have noticed him going super low. I've
yeah,
seen it quite a few times.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, I don't bother.
yeah,
I just,
as long as your point of interest, your area is taken
yeah,
some form of liquidity,
yeah. Now,
like the trend line, for example.
I was thinking about this earlier. Is like I'm kind of like a fucking knuckle drag ape compared to how George finds his entries, you know.
Yeah,
But I mean, it works for me. I just seem to pick these areas. So
yeah,
like George might have something like this on his feed. This might be a third touch, which means that the actual area that got tapped, which is this one here,
yeah,
I mean, it just comes below technically. So,
yeah,
but yeah, if that's what it was coming for, this is like the order block that takes this liquidity. That's kind of how George would be looking at it. But he
yeah.
also, like I say, he's doing this on the like he'll be looking for this on like the 10 seconds and stuff as well. Whereas I think a lot of it depends how you what you believe actually happens in the markets. So I believe trend lines are supposedly meant to be to give people chance to get in the market. So, but they want people to get in on the wrong side of the market. So they're trying to convince you to get in so they can take your stop loss to then move the market in the direction they want.
Yep.
Um, so technically, I suppose if you're trying to pull a 10-second trend line, like it's probably not. That's my belief. So it's
Not
not
that strong.
yeah, well, it's not enough time for people to see that and then get in. So
Yeah,
kind of it goes against my belief. Not that I believe that what I think is true anyway. It's just a theory, you know, of a story that I've put together. So, but it kind of don't meet that rule. So, but like this is the second entry I picked. So obviously I spoke to you a couple of weeks back saying I'm now on the side of BPRs.
yep.
So obviously we get a sharp down push, sharp up push, but it's got to be on the lower time frame because I don't believe a 1 minute BPR is a genuine thing, and
Yep.
it is. We can see it and it's there, but like this all happened here in 40 seconds. We're on the 10-second time frame, so all this happened on the in 40 seconds. So that happened in one candle on the 1 minute, the whole entry zone, and it just looks like a wick. Yeah, but
Yep.
once obviously dropping down shows you more. That it's the same information, but obviously spread out over time. So it kind of shows us and sort of tells us a story of what's actually happened inside that candle. And that's kind of what led me to the lower time frame stuff anyway, because let me see if I can, I'd see like a strong 1 minute up and down candle, like side by side, something like this, but maybe a bit bigger, and then it'd get tapped into and clear off. I was like, well, what am I not seeing kind of thing. So, and then I've started inquiring about obviously what does this show on like the 30-second, 15-second, 10-5 one, and then you start seeing that it's it's the imbalance that we're told to look for, but we're generally told to look on like the 15-minute or or whatever, or five. But yeah, it's there on the lowers, the seconds charts. It's just but and I suppose as well, thinking about that, now everyone obviously thinks that I'm mental for picking these uh like 10-second entries or whatever. So to the outside world that might look crazy and things like that, but in reality, all this is a price level where something happened. Yeah. So I mean I would always say to others, if you mark a 5 minute entry and you can see something you're happy with, if you decided that your entry was here and you would always cover these bottom weights, you should always do that. I think Hardy's having trouble getting in. I've had to add him about 5 times. So yeah, if generally your entry would have been to this imbalance here,
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I must have come in about 4 times.
you don't
I
need
can
to
hear you, but I can't see. I'm having trouble.
you don't need to swipe or on the screen, dear, because I know sometimes it.
Recording in progress.
I've added on that now.
Oh, I'm going to mute that now.
I can see you now. Right, let's leave that one.
You started a rave then.
I see you now, mate.
Oh, top man.
No
Sorry about
worries.
that.
No, it's all good, mate. It's all good. So yeah, like if for the lads that obviously look at this and think it's crazy, and generally their entry would be on say the 5 minutes, they would mark up a zone like that. Obviously your entry would be something like that, and you would say cover the low that you want and a bit more. So I mean that's kind of how I started off, but then like you say, as you drop down, obviously that's a bit of a tiny bit of imbalance. I'll draw the imbalance so you can kind of see how it changes for the people watch it back and things. So bit of imbalance there. That's the lowest imbalance you can see on the 5 minute. All this looks filled. So right, so I've dropped to the 3 minute. That imbalance is completely not there at all now. So and there's a little bit down here, a little bit there. So does that mean you move your entry to there? And then if you drop down again, this will all change again. See that now imbalance would now be lower. So you'd put that there. This one's back there. Yeah. There's still nothing below that anyway. That's just on the 1 minute, and then obviously you can I'll drop to 10 because that's the entry. It shows the entry one. So we've got Summit there. These look a bit shady. I won't be too happy about that. It'd be a maybe if there was nothing else on to show. And then I don't believe we really get anything else because I think that's the low there. So obviously with what I've just gone over with, these imbalances change on the 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute, and 10-second. Now if we think about that, we can only go so far before these shouldn't really change. Yeah. So once you get to like the 10, 5, and 1, these imbalances don't change because the market doesn't move so fast as such. Like these imbalances should always be here on pretty much be here on the the bottom 3 time frames that we can look at. And again, this one disappears because I said it was shady and crappy. So that it can't change the lower the time frame you get. So that means that imbalances cannot hide from you on the seconds charts. So in reality, if you're looking for an entry, if you're looking for an imbalance to be filled, let's say you're looking for an order block that creates an imbalance and that order block becomes your entry, why wouldn't you look at on the time frame that you can't change where the imbalance cannot hide from you because it's there. It was there on the 10, it's there on the 5. The 1 might disappear because the 1's a different game altogether. I'm not keen on the 1. But if like the rest of the trade to the left is all there, I've showed you the liquidity, I've showed you the change of character in the structure. So now's the point. You're just trying to find that imbalance as an entry zone, and there it is. It's there on the lowest 2 of the bottom 3 time frames. Okay.
Yep.
So that with that, I know obviously sorry, I put that one back. So that bit, if you just marked off the 5 minute, like you're looking at a eight pip stop loss. So even if I had the same stop loss point with that one, that should be 6 pips. Yeah. So just by 6-ish. So you've instantly just by picking a level, because this is what I was getting to. The I've reduced that stop loss by a quarter just by going. Even if you keep the stop loss in the same place, but you've moved your entry to the last imbalance we see on the lower time frame, you've upped your risk to reward by 25% by a quarter for every R it goes. Yeah. So you obviously your target should always be where your target is, whether that's obviously at the minute it's gone up to here, so I'm just going to get a drink and now it's gone dry. This is what that was water, by the way, Freddie.
Blood orange fracture cider, yeah.
Yeah, water, mate. Yeah, so your TP should always be what your strategy or system would say. If it's there, then great. So just by reducing where your entry would be, let's say you should have added about 25% onto. So that one's 25.5, and that one's 30, nearly 32. It's the same. It's the same system. Everything to the left is the same. The only thing that changed was the price level that you got in, and obviously that means you've reduced your time in the market, no doubt. Because I think the bigger stop loss would have tagged sooner. You'd have maybe had to held through the spread hour the night before. I'll just yeah. So the first one would have got tagged in pretty much midnight there because that's spread out. So that one don't count. Yeah. So what I did by reducing it to the 2 was I basically said that. Let me just go back to that as well. Back to the 10 as well. So when it comes to me doing the entry, I was happy to say that I don't think this is imbalance here. So I'll delete that off my chart. I don't think there's any below this. Nothing of any meaning. Anyway, maybe a touch here, but there's no BPR because it's cut off by this. So there's maybe the tiniest down here. But what I was happy to do was go, I think price is going to fill this imbalance here, tap into this order block, and then go. So and at that point, because there's nothing below it, it's either it goes from there or it doesn't. Sorry, one sec, because she started hoovering. Right. Yeah, so basically what all I was saying is that if it doesn't go from there, then it's probably not going to go from this low at all. So obviously I did it as a 2 pip stop loss in total. So I give it a little bit beyond my zone where it was anyway. So from there I did 2 pips. Yeah, so I covered a little bit to allow for spreads and things like that. But my like I say, my system basically says it shouldn't really have broken this low. but it's come for whatever's. I mean, it's come for something in here. I don't know what that is. I don't think it shows anything. It might just be like a feed difference that it's come for rather than what's on mine. So I can't see anything in here what it's come for that stands out. Well, it kept me in the trade anyway. Maybe come to fill a bit of price gap in here or something. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I was like I say, my idea was it was going to go from there or it wasn't going to go. And then the outcome is, as I've shown you. I mean, obviously it's done 200 odd pips, is it? Yeah, 214 pips in total. So a possibility of 107.5 for anybody else. Did that kind of make sense, Tom? Because
It makes complete sense to me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The reason why I wanted to sort of cover that a bit was because, like I say, people think it's crazy, but all I'm saying is that all I'm willing to do is get in at the very last moment and cut off my trade if that zone fails, kind of thing. But it's all there to visualize on the lower time frame because hang on one sec, fucking once. So lads, I forgot what I was saying now. Basically, that I'm happy to leave the tap in and obviously the stop loss to cut off early to like the last minute to get in on the trade, and no one's cut it off early because if it voids the area that I feels the last point's kind of going to, and then as you see it tapped in at lunchtime on the Wednesday, yeah, 1:15. So obviously this wick past my entry zone is spread out, so that doesn't actually count. That wick won't be there on some feeds and it will on others. So I was happy that me entry was still intact at least at that after that. And then you see it taps in there. It actually clears off and comes back a couple of hours later, I think it is. So this is why I don't recommend doing break even. Yeah, so imagine if it had gone uh, so it went 12, I think it is. Yeah, 12 hour. So it taps in there, goes 12 hour, comes back to draw down by a tiny amount, comes back in a tiny bit of drawdown and then goes. So break-even traders would have took a break-even there or tiny little loss or whatever and would have lost out on the possibility of all of that. So that was GU. But yeah, like I don't use like say use that lower time frame stuff, liquidity to find entries, but it definitely works for George, mate. So it'd be the best person to kind of ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he takes a few more trades than you do, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose the best way to test it would be is that he's maybe. I mean, it's hard to do because it's hard to say because I don't do it, but you'd find old trades obviously and
Yeah.
zones that get tapped and then go, can you find the liquidity around it afterwards kind of thing. So he would maybe say that's a good trend line there. And then because it taps in something in here just below my entry zone, this is responsible for the liquidity being taken maybe. But I mean, it kind of blows my mind a little bit to be
To
fair.
be fair, like when you do it, when you find the liquidity on the 10 seconds and the 5 seconds, it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's so many places you can find it. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. I think a lot of it depends how accurate you're willing for it to be.
Yep.
So I think in general, trend lines like actual accurate free touches is very hard to find. Stuff
Well,
might
especially because what I find is I'll mark it on the 1 hour and it looks perfect. I drop
yeah
down to the 5 minute and I'm like,
yeah
oh, there's a gap there. It's not
yeah
right.
yeah
Or I'll find it on the 5 minute and I drop down to the 1 minute and I'm like, oh, it's passed through it.
yeah
You know?
yeah
Um, so it's yeah. I mean, like I say, on a 1 hour chart, a trend line can look absolutely
yeah
perfect, and you're
yeah
like, "That's bang on, that is." And then
yeah
you look at it on a lower time frame, and it's either passed through it or not reached it. I'm
yeah
like, "Well, is it a trend line then?" Well, it is clearly a trend line on the 1 hour, but
yeah yeah. So it's what I'm kind of on the side now of like because this isn't a perfect one here. I think this middle touch is over by a pipette, but I'm kind of okay with that because I won't be too okay with much more. At two, I'd be a bit like, yeah, probably not. But one pipette is like that might be perfect on forex.com feed.
yeah,
Like they're going
big
to vary, but
discrepancy.
yeah, they're going to vary very slightly between a pipette or two. So what was nearly perfect on this might be perfect on other feeds. I'm not.
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
go.
yeah, definitely. I mean, some fleets would blast through it by
Yeah,
bits.
yeah.
It's
So
like massively out.
so yeah, I'm kind of okay with a pipette anymore. I'd be a bit like, probably not. But yeah, I mean, the trend line itself is not like a major factor in why I took this trade because Matt told me that this was spread out before I took it anyway.
Yeah.
It was everything else. It was this major high here being taken that made me think it's definitely going to come back, and it then showed structural wise on the lower time frame that with this change of character here, it looks diabolical on the 2 hour. So you have to get a bit in deeper.
And just a question: why do you use FXCM when your self-funded is with IC Markets? Do you not like the IC Markets feed or what?
Uh,
Or is it just because you've always used that feed?
yeah, I just seem to always use them. So I was using FXCM before I
IC
set up.
Markets even had a feed.
Well, I didn't know IC Markets had a feed, but I did. I was using these feeds before I set up a personal with IC Markets. So yeah, I mean it's worth checking. You know, I have been thinking about chucking up like swapping my account over to FXCM, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what their spreads and things are like. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I probably should in reality because then obviously the numbers will all match up and candles will be the same and all that jazz. But and like it clearly works for me on this feed as well. So yeah, I'll just show you that middle touch while we're here. So I'm sure it's just a
The thing is, if you swap it as well,
yeah,
if you take it out of IC Markets, at that point you're liable for the tax, aren't you?
yeah,
So you move it across, you're going to get stung.
yeah. So that's the middle touch there, mate. So it doesn't even register it as a pipette. It does just past the touch. So it's like point 0.9 of a pipette passed in the middle on that middle touch on that trend line. So like I wouldn't be much more than that. I wouldn't be happy with it. Now we're really zoomed in, so it looks like it's massive, but like I said, that's not even it doesn't even register as a full pipette. Yeah. So yeah, if it don't quite register. So I suppose if I was to like summarize what I'm doing as such, is kind of tells you when it's where it's gonna go and when kind of. Oh, what the fuck is that? Zoom is not responding. Yeah, structure kind of tells us where and when price is going to go from. Imbalance tells us the price level it's kind of going to go from, and liquidity kind of tells us roughly where from. As an indication of where it's going to go from. So yeah, like I think what a lot of people struggle with is because obviously all we've looked at and spoke about here is liquidity, structure, and imbalance for the entry. I just think people struggle to comprehend the order in which that they should be placed at. So, and it's kind of hard to explain as well. So, because it obviously when I was speaking to you about the earlier structure, it's kind of multiple structures going on. So if we
Yeah.
I just zoom out a touch, I'll try not to obviously boggle Harry's mind for this. Hopefully, he kind of picks it up.
It just comes with time.
Yeah, I think it's just an experience game with structure. You've kind of got to
100%.
you, this makes perfect and simple sense to me. But I've been doing it a decent amount of time now. So, um, but what I think a lot because I get a lot of messages. Well, I used to, not so much anymore. People see my videos or whatever and jump on and go, "Fucking hell, it's phenomenal what you just so." It kind of makes sense to them, but not fully, if you know. And then they come on, they start getting stuck into structure, and they're like, "Fucking hell, I'm struggling with this," you know. So I think people jump on it, they don't pick it up straight away, and then
Yeah.
they kind of like leave it be, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like this trade all comes from with in the last live structure is this 4 hour red zone one here. It's pulled back deep into this bullish leg. Yeah, this is a bullish. We're a bullish structure. You know, if I was to tell anyone to draw the next structure, they'll draw it from there. They'd probably draw it to down there, and then you'd draw up there. You know, and that's kind of what I'm trying to catch by using the medium time frame structure and the lower time frames to kind of tell me where these reversal points are. Now, obviously, the reversal points come after the lower time frame structures. So ideally now, ideally now, this high is going to get taken at some point over the next week. I'm guessing maybe two, depending on how quick the market shifts and what world events happen. This was the first major, well, so this was the first major one I wanted to see taken, which happened a few weeks back. This was the second major high. This is the next one. If, and obviously they're going to get taken if this is the prediction. Yeah, th this new 4 hour red high comes in, which is very reasonable assumption now. Like because we've had a couple of decent breaks to the downside. Now price might come into this area here and start showing bearish signs, and then it might do another 15-minute swing. So the options are possibly still that we do just turn back now. Price might pull into there and then do that with but that's a continuation of this structure. I turn the other ones, the one down. So that structure there, it's on 100. I'll turn it blue so it's different. So Tom can't steal it.
Hey.
Huh. Yeah. So that's still a possibility from up in this zone here. Yeah. Because we've still got a bearish blue structure at the minute, but we've had lower time frame. So this green one, we've had breaks to the upside. So we've had a break. Now the high on this is the next one. So this is up here is a crucial point for GU. If this one gets taken, right, I'm very confident the price will, instead of doing a new low from here. Obviously, this is just a maybe kind of thing. If it does take that high, this high here, it will tap into something in all this, no doubt. Pull back, and then it will do its next bullish swing and probably take the 4 hour high. So what it does here decides whether we make a new low or we're probably going to make a new high on the highest time frame, the red one. But that's what I mean when I say like the obviously to everyone like the familiars, I always say the 1 minute makes up the 15. So this green one here makes up the 15. So the what you kind of see is let me see if I can come before and one makes up the 15 makes up the 4 hour, and the 4 hour makes up the daily or weekly, whatever. So what I mean by that is this from if we figure from this point here, I'll draw a circle around it. So that point there and this point here. So this is a 4 hour leg, yeah. The red one, the red leg is a 4 hour bullish leg. There's two extremes are both 15-minute and 4 hour structure points. Yeah, so that's a 15-minute low because obviously we got a high here, we put in a low, and then it changes character up here. So that's a 15 and a 4 hour low. The 4 hour is just what like drawn as one big push. The 15 is drawn as two bullish swings. Yeah, and inside this 15 will be 1 minute structures as well. So if I zoom in just on this 15-minute pullback, so again it's drawn from the extreme to the extreme. But if you zoom in, you can kind of see that we get at least a couple of swings like this going on. Maybe this little one there to there, yeah. So we get 3 bearish swings in this 15-minute pullback, but that's all inside the 1 4-hour bullish push, yeah. So the blue obviously is generally green on this occasion. 1 minute's blue, orange is 15 or medium, and red is higher time frame, my 4-hour. So when I say multiple time frames are running at the same time, this is kind of what I mean. The 1 minute's making up the 15-minute swings. The 15-minute swings are making up the 4-hour, and obviously the 4-hour will make up the purple one. So it's all the same price action on whatever time frame you look at it. Obviously, you see more candles on the lower time frame, but the structure wise, like I say, the 4-hour, this red one here makes up this purple one, so it's all one purple bullish swing at the minute. Although I know that's a fucking mess to look at, but you can see one bullish purple structure there. Yeah, and it's made up of these 4-hour swings. The bottom and the top of the swing should be there. Yeah, the bottom and the top. This is a current high at the minute. Then points are the same on the 4 and the red and the purple. The red and the orange, the extreme points will be the same. The green and the or blue on this occasion and orange extreme points are the same. Does that make sense?
Well, it does to me, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. So I suppose like
It never used to, though.
no. I mean I understand it takes time. These now obviously I think this is Harvey's first time on, so the rules for what I use for structure, mate, are in the supply and demand section in the pinned in the chat, mate. So I'll try and remember some of them off the top. I'll pick a better chart as well that I can where I ain't got a fuckload of drawings so you can kind of see what's I'm fucking struggling, aren't I? Because I don't. I'll pick USD CAD. I don't think they've got too much on it. Right. So one of my rules for structure is a high and lows intact until one or the other's taken. So what I mean by that is so if I just bar replay there, so we can like if you imagine this hasn't played out and we're at here. So if we're looking at the chart and we're going, right, this is clearly a high, it's put in a low, price has started to pull back. Now we don't know where this is going to be until, right? So one of the rules is the high and the low is intact until one or the other is taken. So that's clearly a high. It's clearly a low at that point, right? Price might Price might come up here, take this high here, yeah, which would be a change of character. So then after that, you kind of expect this to happen, yeah. It might not do that. It might go and do that, which means it would continue to lower until it's reached the point in what it wants to do. So we don't know. But these two price points, I'll turn them blue as well. Them two price points being in there, right, means that it's kind of this is what I mean when it's telling us where it's going to go. So if it takes that high, it's obviously tapped into a blue box or whatever I've got marked here. Whether it's I don't know if it buys up from there or whatever, I can't remember. But until it tells you that it's going to go up, it needs to take this high. If not, it's the presumption is it's going to continue lower, which I think it does. But it looks like it takes this high. Now this price might come up a bit higher. Now I've got them. This is an old drawing, so I know it's about here. But if we don't know, the same rules apply. We have the fixed high and low at that point in time. So price might come all the way up here and then take the low, which would mean then be the highest point price pulls back before then the low is taken, which would then when price comes here and takes the low, that would then kind of cement this as the new lower high. Obviously, that's in a bearish structure. Obviously, it's the opposite for bullish structures. So, but like I said, I'm pretty sure I think that's about the high there. Yeah, and it starts to head down from there. So obviously it then takes the low at that point there. So pause it there. So when price closes below this low here with this little wick down, now it continues down a bit further as you can kind of see. But at that point there, that means that this is the new high. Yeah. So that there means confirms that as the new high. Yeah. So then if you're looking for a buy out of this blue zone here, because it's taken a low, you kind of want that. You kind of now want that high to be broken, and wherever this sort of stops and starts to pull back, would then kind of anticipate that that would be the new low. So that's pretty much two of the rules kind of covered in structure. So it started to pull back there. Now it went, obviously it's done a change of character there. So now you would anticipate that price is going to come back into something in here from this point here. Anything below that, price is going to come back and should tap into something in this and then buy up. Now it looks like it does a slight pullback. Like I say, this is all price. I don't even know. I mean, it's not long though, actually. So probably that there. I think that's the lowest point it pulls back in here. So yeah. So that's a couple of rules sort of done for structure. Let me just have a quick look at what they are because I can't remember off the top of my head what the others would be. That's a finding email. Pinned. So I've covered the furthest point it pulls back. Now, obviously, once the high and low is retaken, that kind of confirms it. Previous structure is a valid structure until the high and low say it's kind of the same rule, but not. Um, so obviously on this, go back to this one. Obviously, as I said, first of all, this was the live structure when I did the bar replay. That's the live structure, and that's the current working leg until, like I say, the high or low is broken, and then once it moves, once it's like a new low is put in here, it would go from that one to this one. Yeah. Um, one of the only other rules for structure now is now I always say what price does next confirms the previous. So it's only like a caveat kind of rule. So sometimes what will happen is you'll get a change of character here. So it breaks to the upside here from a bearish structure, it turns bullish here, start getting bullish swings. Now, what that means is price will put in a new low. It'll change character. You'll try and take a buy from say something in this, but then it'll just fuck you off and do that. That doesn't mean so the rule is what price does next confirms the previous. So what that means is rather than this sort of kind of drawing, if it took you out and does this pullback, you just alter the structure accordingly. So that would mean that you once it retakes this low, this would be your new high that you'd wait for a break from. And obviously then the previous what we just covered over here would apply to as price coming down here. So it allows for you being that rules like a caveat because it allows you to be taken out, but it just means you redraw your structures to suit accordingly. And if you're still looking for the buy from say that area, if it wiped you out here, that would be the new high and then obviously the new low wherever it stops and starts turning around from. So it just means you change your character level. It would have been there, you'd then move it to say about here. And then the only other one kind of is that so once you're now my structures are quite big, so but when you get some structures are going to happen like in 10, 15 minutes, and some of them are going to take like hours or days. So one of my rules is it must have at least like four candles of the same direction. So kind of all that would mean is if we look now, this only would kind of apply to like the real lower time frame, like the minute kind of thing. Because sometimes you're going to be looking at it and going, is this me change a character here? Because obviously we pull down, we pull up, we retake the low. You know, sometimes this is going to happen in what? I mean, that's 2 or 3 hours, I think, actually. But something like sometimes you're going to be, is that it in it? You kind of want to see at least 4 or 5 of the same color candles in that direction. No, I think that is obviously possibly a change of character. Um, all that would mean is that price needs to come back below this price level to if it goes from there, kind of as it's dipped below market close, so I wouldn't trust it as such. But yeah, it just means you want to see at least a prolonged period of time of the same push direction. So this is in the same direction for a few hours. So if you're getting trying to get real close and tight to your entry, you'd maybe count this. I'd be a bit iffy myself. But it's kind of what I'm showing you on the 4 hours, 15 minute, or 1 minute as we're looking at now. Like the same rules apply for all of them. You just kind of want to make sure that your structure points are good levels and meet a decent standard of structure as well. So now we're on the 1 minute. Like you'd be more than reasonable to, like that's a possibility of a structure break there or a small. Now that I would say that's sub 1 minute for me because by 1 minute we'll be up here because we get a we're clearly coming down from there. I'll draw it out actually. So we come back, we pull back from somewhere down here, we pull up. So my structure break would be that there. It looks like what we do there is mitigate something in this top quarter because this that would be the current live leg because it's bearish. So we've pulled back in there. Top 25%. Kind of had a change of character as well. So this is like the one that I was just looking at is kind of a smaller structure than what I would class as my one. But again, what we start to see is let me just do that and change it color. Yeah. So obviously I was speaking about earlier how the lower time frames make up the ones slightly above them. Kind of get high, pull that there. So it works on any time frame. Yep. So this is the lower inside the blue. So this is maybe what Tom would class as his 15, but it's my one. Inside that we see smaller structures. We've now had a change to the downside. So tool lower time frame break there. So we would possibly at least I think price will pull back into something this week and then make a new low below this. Because that's the structure's kind of telling us that this blue structure's holding because we've had a lower time frame break to downside here. So at some point this week, I'm assuming we'll get something like that maybe. But on the blue structure. Yeah. I think it's just me and you, Tom, anyway. Oh no, Harvey's still here. Did that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of, mate.
Yeah.
I've I've took a few things away from that, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a short recap for it, mate, is what I'm generally doing is I'm trying to look at two multiple structures, but they're on the different time frame. Now they're visible on the same time frame, so we're on the 5 at the minute here, but it doesn't matter. I can still see it on the 15 or whatever, and this is what I would consider lower time frame. So if I just remove that again, just know that this high here is in the top quarter of this
By
whole.
looks of things, you jump from 15 straight to the 4 hour. You don't go on the 1 hour, do you?
No, no, but I mean, that's experience, mate. So if I obviously looked on this, I was just on the 5 looking at this. I could look at this on the 4 hour and see the same kind of structures because it's the same information. The highs are and the lows are the same, if that makes sense. But it's
Yeah.
just my eyes. I can just you can kind of spot them on whatever time frame I'm on within reason. You know, like even though I'm on the 4 hour now, obviously I know that I didn't have that on the screen before, so that would be the high there. Puts it clearly heads, it's clearly bearish till there, pulls back, makes a new low, and it's kind of pulled back here and started for the last 8 hours of Friday, started to make bearish candles. Yeah. So the time frame itself that I'm looking at the charts on is kind of not irrelevant. Now, I obviously say that I've got 4 hour, 15 minute, and 1 hour, 1 minute time frame structures. So, I mean, you can name them whatever you want. That's just what I name them. It doesn't mean I specifically find them structures on that time frame. It's what I'm kind of doing is I've obviously on this one I've got a blue, I've got an orange, and I've probably got a red somewhere well over here, and a red here. So I'm just looking for three different time frame structures. So like the green being the lowest, orange being the medium, and the red being the largest, you know. So I'm just trying to find them kind of three. Like I said, it don't matter what time frame you're on, and the rules apply to whatever structure you find. Like what the rules that we covered a bit earlier. Obviously, I didn't cover them in great detail because it kind of deserves its own live and education, to be fair. Don't tell Sean or Tom because it'll tell me off. But so yeah, it doesn't matter what time frame you do it. As I said here, this green, let me come back so you can kind of see it. This green structure that I drew here, like I would say that's less than my 1 minute. Now I'm on the 5, it doesn't matter because I would count this as my 1 minute, the blue one. Now I'm more conservative than probably anybody else in the group, other than I'll take a 2 pip entry and stop loss, you know. But other than that, I would rather my structures be, I'd rather say that this is my one and it be someone else's 15, because then even if even if you would say it is the 15 and not the one that I call it, like that's in my favor. That just means that because higher the time frame, the more weight it supposedly holds. So that's in my favor because if I'm saying it's just a one and it's actually 15, the 15 holds more weight than the one. So yeah. I'm just more on the conservative side of all of this, which is why my trend lines have to be pretty much perfect. My imbalances have to be good and clean, and my structures have to be on the bigger side, if anything. Yeah. But obviously, the bigger the structure, the longer the trades are going to take to appear, if that makes sense. So, but like as I was saying, like the time frame you find these on doesn't matter as long as you apply the same rules to it. So, as I drew this one, this clearly meets a set of rules. So we get a high, put in over here, put in a low, pulls back. The two extremes of a structure, it then takes it, so that's it continues and then it pulls back. So the blues are structure and the greens are structure inside the blue. Yeah, because that's the extreme point here. So the green and blue extreme point is here. The green and blue extreme structure is here. The blue's still bearish. In this leg here, the green structure is bullish. Yeah, so if you was looking for a sell from the top of this quarter on this leg here on the previous structure, bearing in mind the blue is bearish, so sells is probably the overall direction. You've got the green, which is a lower time frame, change of character signal in here that told you that the blue, this is the more likely outcome here. So obviously with it needs a blue line from here. Just one sec, I'll redo this. Because the green shown as bearish change of character here, this is the most likely outcome now. That's the most likely outcome because the lower time frame from the one above it, so the blue being the one above it, green being the lower as the signal. Yeah. So it's told us that probably not going to take this high, which means this new low is the most likely outcome. Now it might not smash through. It might smash through this whole blue zone. You know, it's if it had tapped into that, if it tapped into that and then took this high here, now I'd be saying it's going to buy up from somewhere in this because that's the signal. Because I believe the previous structure above the blue will be telling us that it's bullish, and it is, yeah. But I'm anticipating it coming below this line here at least because that's the that's the previous my medium time frame structure. So for me to, I've been waiting for a buy from USD CAD since here, 8th of May. Yeah, it just hasn't pulled back yet. But if you look at this orange structure here, you can see we get bearish. We've got bearish orange structures. We changed characters here. Yeah, pulled back, gave a lower time frame change of character here. Now that's the stage I was trying to buy it from because as soon as it broke that high, just wanted it to nip back into one of these and then clear off and do what it's done now. I'm hoping. So from what I've just told you, obviously you'd have to watch it a good few times. I'm not expecting that you'll get this just after watching one live. So I'm anticipating price is going to come below this high because the theory is something in all of this price action. Let me draw just something in all of this price action here. The theory is that an order went in that told the market that it was going to take this high. Yeah. So price will come back to should, not will, should, but it's more than likely pull back for the it's come back high. It's going to come below this high, tap in something in here, and then anticipate. I'm hoping it's coming into one of these green boxes, and then it's going to make a new high on the orange structure. Yeah, because we've got bullish 15-minute or medium time frame. Yeah, yeah. What we'll get here if it comes down this deep as well, though, is we'll get lower time frame confirmations. So this is my medium. It's all the same price action. What will happen is we'll get something like that. Little change of character there, pull back. So we'll get a couple of opportunities if it comes this deep to catch that actual move. Now, obviously, I color coordinate all my drawings so everybody else can try and understand what I'm looking at. So this green drawing I've drawn here. Now, obviously, price isn't this low yet, but what if I show you this here? Yeah. So this drawing here, the same green drawing, we got a break above this high here, and then price pulled back and bought up from there. Yeah. So the green structure was the confirmation and then told us to go find an entry. I actually showed you this time on the live the other week. So that was the trade, mate. It went 35R. And I actually told you it was going to sell off from somewhere in this blue box, which it's doing so. So if we it's even here, what I'd kind of anticipate now is or it might have done it, we've got a change of character here to the downside. So obviously we get a couple of bullish swings there. Prices come below it. We might come back up into all this and then sell off to make its way down to where I kind of want it to go. But it's all obviously, and so I'm experienced with this, so I can see that just by looking at this, it won't make sense to you right now. But anytime these structures are broken, where we apply them rules, like they tend to give a good option of a trade from them zones. But the idea is that little change of character with a green zone in here. I mean, I can move it from there. It's the same drawing. It's just slightly different. So if I just draw them, drag them to, yeah, it's the same. So we get a change of character. I'm still just looking for a change of character. And that change of character comes from, it's just structure. So a change of character is a structure shift. So yeah, and yeah, hopefully it just does it from real far down here, and then I'll be trying to buy it up past this high here. Drink some more water. Oh, right. Is there any questions on that, mate? Because if not, I'm probably going to call it there anyway. I mean, that's probably a lot of information if that's your first time watching any of my stuff, mate. But and it
Yeah,
might,
first time I watched a few of the old videos as well.
yeah. But keep at it, mate. Like I'm always in the chats anyway. So if you have any questions, even like if you watch it back or watch the old ones and you don't quite understand something, you can always ask me, mate, and
Appreciate that, mate. Nice
always
one.
happy to help. So yeah. But like I said, it's there's like 4 rules for structure, and like if you can draw this, you know full well that
I watched quite a few videos on YouTube about structures, to be fair, but this is a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I don't think anyone kind of no one taught me this, mate. So this is all my own back testing. So I made up the rules for it. I did all of it myself, kind of thing. And I mean, I personally think that's the best way to like learn structure anyway, because then you're like, if obviously I've just read out a load of like stuff to you, like it kind of doesn't have any substance because like you don't know the results and the power of seeing this kind of thing, if that makes sense. So going out and doing it yourself kind of brings it into reality almost. So yeah, it just
When I first joined, just one question. When I first joined, you was talking about that JU trade for a 2 pip stop.
yes,
Are
mate.
you is that self-funded, is it then, or
Yes, mate. Yeah,
yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
yeah. It's. I don't think I'd be doing 2 pips on a
No, that's what I thought, to be fair.
prop firm, mate. Now I have done it on prop firms and things. I used to be with Finitive, and then I went to 5%ers. So where their spreads, year and a half, 2 year ago, was
You still
good.
holding that trade then?
No, I got out down here, mate. I was saying to Tom though, but I messed up. I got out here, but when I marked it up, kind of thing, I was only focusing on like this part of the chart. So like if I zoomed in there, I was only focusing on that. Now if I'd have, 'cause what day was that? Tuesday. So I think I marked that up on Monday. I wasn't really interested in looking at charts, but if I'd have zoomed out and seen the rest of my markings up, I'd have, like I say, this blue structure's kind of what I'd be aiming for. So I think this high is going over the next week or two. So if I'd paid more attention, I'd have been kind of setting my TP around there, which would have been 200-ish high. So yep, seeing a bit, Tom, mate. So yeah, it was just lack of attention, mate. So, but like
Fair play.
yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted either, like But like I said, this is done from that entry. Like I said, I took 38 off the table. It's done 107 if I'd have just kept hold of it and paid more attention. So
Oh, powerful stuff though, isn't it?
yeah, but like and all it is, mate, is all with. And I've said a lot of stuff, but it's all just structure, imbalance for the entry, and liquidity. It's. I know that's a real oversimplification, but all's I've done is obviously I've spent a lot of time doing this, so and figuring it out. But like I've got 4 rules for structure, so we can all learn them 4 rules. You could probably read them over a few dozen times in a day and start drawing it on a chart, and within a week you'd kind of should be able to mark something like. Um, we all know what imbalance is. I only look at it on the real lower time frame stuff. Did you see the entry zone that I marked on that, or was you not in at that point?
I don't think I was in at that point. That's right. I'll watch it back on the live, mate.
Well,
To
I'll
be
show
fair.
you quick anyway, man. I'm not in a rush, so. So this trade, obviously, I covered it earlier. So if you do watch it back, there's a trend line liquidity here with this blue line marked here. This one here said 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 3 nice touches. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, what price does then? It sweeps the liquidity, so it takes everybody's stop loss that would be if I extend that. If I extend that, so you can see at that point price. The idea with liquidity is so it's 3 touches. Your average retail trader would think, oh, if price comes back to this level, like this line, they would be trying to buy off this line, thinking it's a strong support or resistance or whatever you want to call it. So that everyone else would be buying. Your average Joe would likely be setting their trade up to be something like this, yeah. And then they'd want it to go up or whatever because the other touches go up quite far. But what the banks do is they create this. Everyone else thinks it's a strong support. We know because it's liquidity. There's going to be stop losses. So stop losses is liquidity basically. So everyone else's money. We know the banks fuck everyone over, take everyone's money, then the market goes the direction it's going to go. So that's liquidity.
That's how you get slippages, ain't it? Because if like the banks put a big order in there,
Yes.
there
Yeah.
has to be something to take that order, doesn't there? So obviously
Yes.
that's why you get them massive slippages.
Yes. So that's liquidity. Takes everybody's money by the bank's manipulation. On the lower time frame, structure wise, so we've gone from liquidity, we're going to structure. This is the last low. Price pulls back, takes the low. So structure wise, it's still bearish at this point, yeah, because we get a pull up from down here, pull back, new low, and then price pulls back and changes structure on the lower time frame after the sweep, yeah. So that, well, let me do it here, wait there. That's your change of character here. So that's your signal that price is now going to turn around, at least for this green structure. Yeah. But obviously, from the other structures on the higher time frame to the left, if you watch it back, you'll see it. It's this way down here. It's prime time for a major higher time frame. So my red structure, it's at the bottom of a previous higher time frame low in a bullish structure. So if it gives us the signals for changing characters to the upside, we should be taking them and probably really holding them. Yeah. So that's liquidity taken, lower time frame structure break with this change of character, and then what I would be telling you is from all these candles that are on show now, price
Yeah,
should pull back into something in here, fill an imbalance, and then clear off and start making new high highs. Yeah.
right.
So now what I did, I'm going to bypass a lot of this and I'm going to go to where the actual entry that I picked is and show you just below that as well. So I jumped to the lower time frame. Yeah, time on the 10 seconds. This imbalance here, yeah, see that low, that big push up there,
Yeah,
right? That does, wait, measure. So this one candle alone, that one candle does 1.5 pips in 10 seconds. Yeah. So that's a big movement on such a small time frame. Yeah, 10 seconds to move that amount is a big amount. That's clearly an injection of money, let's say, because that's money's the only thing that moves the market.
yeah,
And it all happens from around this area here. Yeah. There's nothing below that takes now there is imbalance here, but that's filled by this pullback, slight pullback here. So this imbalance is dead. And as you can kind of see, there's nothing live that hasn't been taken that's on show imbalance wise. Yeah.
yeah.
So that means that this zone here is the very last imbalance that's unfilled before the change of character. Yeah. So
You're
as
basically saying that's where the big money enters.
I'm saying that now it's not always from the lowest. This is just a good example.
Right.
Sometimes this imbalance is a bit higher. You've sometimes got to take that risk, but generally speaking, it's coming back to fill one of the major imbalances in the leg after the change of character. Yeah.
Mhm.
So then I'm saying if you stick your entry at now on like I say, this one's really clean. It's the lowest. It's not always going to be lowest, but on for this example, it's the lowest imbalance. So it's either got to go from here or it's not going to go. Yeah. And the change of characters like manipulation. But that kind of gives me a 50-50 chance of whether I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we get a spread hour. So a wick's going to come blasting through this zone in a second, but it's at 10 o'clock, I think. So here, it's here. Now, spread hours don't exist. They do for us, but the price action that you see on your chart doesn't actually happen because the computer, say, gets turned off in New York and then they turn it back on an hour later in Tokyo. So that hour is just your broker or prop firm manipulating price to try and maybe like swangle people out of money. It's
that's
not.
it.
It doesn't actually happen. So there you go. That doesn't happen. So it's blasted through the zone technically, but it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, when the manipulation happens, it's not real. So if I took you onto a different feed, this wick wouldn't be there on some feeds. It would on others. It'd be lower on others. Like you could pick 10 feeds and every single one will be different, which means that it's a real good chance that it's just broker manipulation. Yeah. So and then what I kind of do is leave my trade on. It's just short there. Now this is a 2 pip zone, yeah, from the entry to the stop loss. It just comes below my entry zone, which I don't like, but I don't really go below 2 pips anyway. But as you see, it taps in there perfectly. There's uh 8 pipettes left of um playing, and like GU's like a pipette spreads on my broker anyway, so it's not an issue. And then as you kind of see, it books off and does its thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I've used there is liquidity, a bit of structure, and then an imbalance to be filled. It's kind of that simple, although I know that's really simplifying it, and it's a lot harder than that. But yeah, it's just there was a build up liquidity. It got taken, it got manipulated. It showed a change of character structure wise, and then it come back, filled an imbalance into an order block, fucked off to do its thing. And the outcome of that is 107, possible 107 risk to reward at that point. Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
So yeah, it's not easy, but it's kind of easy once you start to understand it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I've got to get on a chart and have little markouts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely,
I've
mate.
done US Tech earlier and sent it to Tom. I weren't too far off, but there
Well,
was a few little things that I could have
yeah,
done.
US, I mean, I've been trying to sell this for months, mate. Again, structure wise, it's telling us it's coming lower. So I've been trying to sell this since early June. Yeah. Now this was just shy of my entry up here. So, but if you look at this orange draw in here, so we get a pullback, we're putting a new high, it breaks that previous low. So this is your signal that we're coming lower here. Yeah. Something in here, the order went in to tell us that we was going to take that low. We don't know what it is. It just looks as imbalance to us, so it could be any imbalance in all of this. So as price is going back up, we get a change of character above here. Yeah, price
Yeah.
comes in. On the lower time frame, we get a bit of a pullback here on the way up. So from this high to this low. That's what a lower time frame pullback. We're on the 2 hour, so it just looks like a mash of candles. But my experience knows that that's a pullback on the lower time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Then go and put the high in. Now we don't know it's the high until we get a break below this lower time frame low, which it does here, obviously. So then once it did the second change of character here, I was just anticipating it's got to come back up here and fill something and then sell off. Now I picked obviously the wrong imbalance. It's just short of what my entry zone was. Yeah. Now I'll show you what I picked and I'll show you what it's tapped into if it's visible. Now it could again it could be feed dependent. It might be slightly different on whatever feed you're looking at, but see that looks like it's tapped into nothing there. It's just tapped into that high there. But that because it looks like nothing on the 10 second doesn't mean it's visible. It's not visible on something even lower. Looks like shit on this. Kind of an imbalance here, so maybe that would have given it away, but probably not. Um, so my
But you're saying that'd give it away that we're going lower.
the structure breaks, yes,
Right.
yes, because structures. If if I was to draw you any a structure, if I was to tell you to draw a bearish structure, you're gonna draw something like this, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if we obviously it's the opposite for a bullish one, so you draw something like this, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a point in here, yeah. If I add them two together, there's a point in here where price changes direction. So this is, let me just draw this. Price is bearish to the left, bullish to the right. Yeah. So what we can do is we to the left, if we look to the left, this is obviously the high that puts in the low. So at that point there, if I draw a level line from that high, now this would be in place, so you'd be able to you can mark this up live with live price action, assuming you know how to mark that actual highs with the rules that are applied. So once price breaks that high, so it does it here. That's why I've drawn the arrow level across. I'm saying price is just coming back in all of this. So let me bar replay it. I don't know if it'll get rid of the drawing or not. No, it won't.
Hmm.
Stupid. Let me just come off that set. Yeah, so all I'm saying is from this point here, I'll draw a line actually because that'll work. That point there is where price breaks through the high to the left.
Right.
So if you were setting a layer at that price level with a line on it to say that it's a change of character, I would say price is due to come back in somewhere in here, fill an imbalance, and then continue its bullish swing because the is a bullish change of character. So it's told us. So bearish here, changes bullish with your signal here as soon as it takes that high. So you could automatically kind of assume that your next couple of swings are going to be bullish as well, which is what I've drawn, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can find that imbalance. So my drawings are yellow for imbalance, and greens are generally my entry. Because yeah. So if there's a real nice looking imbalance like I showed you on GU in this price action look that's not been filled,
Yeah.
if you stick your entry just at the point, so it should tag you in the trade. It does for me anyway. At the point that the imbalance is filled, because it's trying to fill imbalance because it wants to fill the imbalance from the point that caused where the order goes into change of character. That's the order that the bank's putting in. Go right. We're going to change direction here. Inject the money, and then it goes and breaks structure and turns bullish kind of thing. That the imbalance is like the signal of. It's only the signal that we see because
Right. I get you.
we just see it as imbalance. So we know that imbalance is caused by major money entering the market. So we're just looking for that signal
Yeah.
after the change of character or break of structure, and then
Because
that
overall, that's break of structure, is it? But then you're talking about break of character shows you the change of direction, whether it's
yeah. So
going in
sorry.
line with the
So
overall structure.
yeah. So if by proper like trading terminology, this is bearish. Sorry. So your first one, when we're changing direction, it's called a change of character.
Yeah.
Every break above after that is called a break of structure. Now
Right.
I'm a fucker for calling it all breaks of structure, so I do apologize, right? So let me just draw another one. Yeah, so the first reversal one's called the change of character. Any continued one is called a breaker
Break
structure.
of structure.
But like I say, I call all of these breaker structures. It's just, yeah, I get my
I
terminology.
understand that though, to be fair, 'cause it breaks that higher, doesn't it? You'd think that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
And
yeah,
then you get the smaller change of character on the lower time frame to show the direction that it's changing,
yes,
don't you?
yes.
Yeah.
So obviously, what I've just said, obviously, you get your change of character on if the green's the lowest, my like say 1 minute, like I'd generally just set an entry on some in the in this, But
Yeah.
on even like a lower time frame, if this was my medium time frame that we've drawn here, I'll turn it orange, so because that's what my medium time frame is. So there's more signals, more structure breaks because the 1 minute's made up of the 1 minute makes up the lower makes up the medium, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll get further structure breaks on the even lower time frame, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll turn that green now. So even if you just drew that as a POI instead of an entry, because it's like if that's a medium time frame, these swings might have taken weeks. So you don't just want to pick one imbalance in where there's maybe hundreds, because obviously if you put a trade on every imbalance, you might take 100 losses and blow accounts and everything and go broke.
Yeah.
So you can also wait for lower time frames on slightly higher time frame structure breaks. So we had a signal of the medium going bullish here. We then come down. The lower is also going to give you a change of character signal because obviously it's bearish here, and then it turned bullish with that change of character there.
Get you.
Yeah. So change of character. So you could wait for that, and then rather getting in on this entry, the same thing would kind of happen here. There'd be an imbalance in there,
Ready for it to.
and then it's going to tap. It's going to fill the imbalance and tap into an entry, possibly, hopefully there. Yeah.
Yeah. When you draw it out like that, it makes it look so much easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at that, right now, if I zoom out and show you a chart, now that's it's unfortunate that I've drawn bullish like buys on that occasion. But if you look at that, I'm wondering if I could spin that over. Because that's showing buys. Now, if I'd have done it the opposite way, I could have shown you sells. But if I come down to what I've
Get
been
the
looking
gist.
at, if I come down to this, so obviously I was trying to sell it from there. So this is the orange. So it's bullish here, yeah. It showed
Yeah.
change of character here. That was the orange structure. There, this here, but obviously the opposite direction. On the way up to that, there's a lower time frame structure. So what it does is now I told you this on the 2 hour that just like a mush of candles, but on what I can see, it's its own thing. So we kind of get this going on. Yeah. Now that's only a couple of swings on the lower time frame, but literally you can kind of see that this is the low, and then price just goes in one direction to the high. Yeah. So price doesn't take the medium time frame high. It comes well up to it, mitigates something, fills an imbalance, no doubt, and then it gives the lower time frame break to the downside. Yeah. So we've had up to this point here, we've had medium time frame say we're changing bearish, and then we come up high, and then the lower time frame tells us we're also going bearish. So I was just looking for this entry to be filled in. Yeah. And then that would have been, as I said earlier, if I told you to draw a bearish structure, you'd draw it just as a zig like that, like we did. That's all price has been doing since then. So obviously it's bullish up here. Let me just turn it darker so you can see it. That's all it's doing. It's gone further than I drew it originally and anticipated. But now we might get, if I was to say draw another swing, you're probably going to draw it something like this, yeah. But we might get bullish price action for a week or so or a few days, you know. But if price comes up to here and then does what we just spoke about here, so we'll get
Mm.
lower time frame. If we get a lower time frame up here, then we're odds on that we're going to make a new orange low. We will take this one out. Yeah. So the lower tells us what the one above it will do, as long as it does it in the right areas, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a lot, mate. So it's probably worth, even if you just watch this like last 15 minutes back. I mean, that's
Are all your lives like this, mate? Are they, or is there any
uh,
particular ones I should just watch first, or
they're
anything?
all kind of like this, mate. To be fair, I'm gonna do. There is a couple of good ones on there. I don't know what they're called. If you if you can look at my videos, generally the ones with the most videos are the best ones because I always say this one was a good one, watch this one, but I can never remember what they're called or anything. So
I'll have a little look. Nice
yeah,
one.
I think I did one. I did a GU breakdown uh 2 maybe 3 weeks ago. That's probably a good one to watch as well, mate. But
Yeah,
like
cool.
hopefully this will kind of makes a bit of sense to you. At least it's something for you to work from as well.
I
So
roughly get it, but I just need to work on it, I think.
yeah. Like I say, if you can get the rules that I've got written down and you can start, even if you can apply it to this, if you mark this up and then read the rules, you can kind of go, oh yeah, this was the low that put in the high, it got broken. I just wanted price to come back high and then show lower time frame stuff in here.
And then it's just where to look from, like, for trades for, like,
Yeah, well, like I said, the structure breaks is your signal. Now obviously the
you
general,
trade gas, do you?
no, no.
Oh,
I just go in there for the banter, mate.
oh, do you?
Yeah,
Decent.
yeah. So yeah, it's like, but like I say, structure kind of tells us roughly where, like, structure tells us the direction.
Yeah.
Imbalance tells us where it's going to go from if we catch it, and liquidity kind of a target, or so where it's going to. or going from kind of thing. So now, obviously, if you'd have, there's a trend line here.
The overall story, ain't it? Of the
Yeah, if you add them three things together, it gives you like a perfect story,
yeah,
kind of. Obviously, this is just short. I look like I fucked up from there, but
yeah, it'd be a lovely trade that one.
well, yeah. I mean, the if it had gone from there, that's 50, 55-ish from there. Obviously, I did the 38 on.
How
Uh,
long was you holding GU for?
oh, it was only a day. It was a few
Yeah,
hours, I think. Yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
rocketed. It kind of rocketed. I got a. I say I got lucky with the news, but once, do you know when you get things right, like when I get these like trades in the right areas, news never affects me negatively. It tends to always be on my side. So yeah,
Got that 230 open, ain't it? On
well,
US
I
Tech.
think it's
If that goes your way, it's lovely, ain't it?
half one I got in. Yeah, half one
Nice,
comes back
lovely.
at yeah. But yeah, and then that's the news. That really helped on its way. I got out around about here, I think it was. So yeah. But like I said, I cocked up. I didn't look at all the stuff to the left that was telling me where it's kind of where I think it's going. So,
Fair, 38 R. I'll be happy with
oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's even. I'm not even turning my nose up at them. So
Yeah,
yeah, like I said, I did do a GU video, kind of saying where I thought it was going. That's definitely worth a watch, I think. Because I mean, I think it's coming up to this yellow line here. So there's a huge bit of imbalance up here. So and structure wise, what I've drawn, obviously this blue line. So if I think it's going to take this high this week, possibly. That's the next high to go if it's going to go up here, and then obviously it'll be that one afterwards. But yeah, I think we might get something like this. So
decent. I'll have a look at them other videos.
all right, mate. I'll
Oh,
call
I
it.
appreciate your time, mate. Thanks for
No worries,
that.
mate. You're very welcome. Cheers, mate.
Top man. Cheers. See you later.
Bye, mate. Bye.